Hello and welcome to creatingforgrace.com. Today we're going to do the tuxedo suit card. It is high impact but actually really simple to create. The designer series paper that we used was the Pop of Pink, which amazingly enough this is actually in that kit. If you look at the underside of the paper, this is what's on the back. But this just reminded me so much of a suit that the idea came. So super easy card. We use the Bow Builder punch, which I've already created here. The Whisper White organza ribbon. I actually use the Owl Builder punch, which is this one, and I just cut the little legs off the owl and the top to create that pocket there. Oops. And then we have the metal rimmed pearl buttons, and all of the item numbers and dimensions will be on my blog, which is creatingforgrace.com. So right now I'm going to show you how to make the actual suit, and since that's all I could find actually was a non-technical way to explain it, I figured I would just show you visually, even though it was such an easy card. So these are my two pieces that I used, and I used the thick white cardstock as the base here. And those are cut at the 4 1/4 by 11 and then scored at 5 1/2. So that makes an A2 card front size, just like this. So for this paper, I cut it at 5 1/4 by 4 1/2 this direction. And then when I cut the two pieces in half, I cut them at 2 1/8 across, so that you end up with a 5 1/4, which fits right onto that 5 1/2, and then you'll have two pieces that are 2 1/8, and those are going to overlap a little bit, just like this. To score the lapels, and this is where I could not figure out a simple way to show you that was just non-visual. I took one point, the point that you're going to want the right hand lapel with your print facing up, and I put them on the 1 inch mark. And then I took the other end and I put it on the 3 inch mark. So if you have 1 inch and 3 inch, and they'll go along the same side of the paper, and then you have a scoring blade, which is our light gray. The dark gray is the cutting blade. So all we want to do is score that right there, and that creates one of the lapels. Now the tricky part is the other lapel is basically scored on the flip side. So you're going to have your paper just like this, and you're going to do the same thing. You're going to put a point on the 1 inch and a point on the 3 inch, just like that, and then you're going to use the light gray to score, and so when you flip it over, it gives you the lapel just like that. So this is the thick white cardstock, which I absolutely love for card bases, and very underrated bone folder tool. I use them all the time to crisp up those lines, and that way you just don't have a card that's kind of popping up and flapping around. So to make the inside of the lapels match, all I took is some of our snail adhesive, and the part that is going to fold over, so this is the part that you're actually going to see. I just took some scraps that I had, and I put adhesive just on the printed side that would be the part showing, because I want the other part to match. And what I did was I just matched up all of the edges just like that, and only putting adhesive right there. Then I grabbed some of the Stampin' Up! Paper snips, and I just cut right along that seam. And so you have that matching lapel material there then. So that would create one side. I'm going to do the same thing for the other side here. And I'm basically going to bigger scrap here. Match up those two sides on the corner there and run that right down so that when you flip that over, you're going to have a nice matching lapel. Just like that. Then take your snail adhesive again, and I actually didn't glue down the lapels because the bow tie will hold those down. So you're going to put adhesive just on the decorative part, and then you're going to start by putting one side down, and you're pretty much going to have an even border all the way around. So just like that, and then you're going to do the same thing for the other side, and here's the side that's going to overlap the top here. Just like that. And that creates your suit. So the bow tie, like I said, I've already assembled it, and then this is our new tear-in tape, which I absolutely love. And I use it, it's a much stronger adhesive, so I use it for anything that's three-dimensional. I used it for the whole inside of the bow so it doesn't pop apart later. And so basically I just kind of lined that up at the top and centered it right there. And then put that down. And I like the fact that the lapels pop up a little bit. So I did the same thing. I've already put the adhesive tear-in tape on the underside of the pocket. And then I just took a piece of ribbon of the white organza, and I'm just going to stick it just like this, just so that he has enough peeking out and there's still enough of the pocket together. And with that tear-in tape, that really strong adhesive, that will keep the pocket down. So these are actually the metal rimmed buttons. On this original card, I used 2 of the big ones. On this card, I'm actually going to use 3 of the smaller ones. So depending on what size you have left in your collection, and I usually like to try and do a bottom and a top, and that makes centering up the center a little bit easier. So, and that's it. There is your finished suit. This is the original. This is the one that we just put together. Again, not a technical term, but remember to have your little angles on the 1-inch and the 3-inch going diagonally, and that's really the only secret to this card. Otherwise, it's an incredibly easy card to make. Thanks so much for watching the video today, and have an amazingly creative day.